Hello, this is Alex from cables.gl, and I'm joined yet again by Stefan.
Hey there.
Hi. So, we're going to look at another awesome export option from Cables, and I think this one is super neat. And I guess it's a new concept for me because I usually just export a zip and then upload somewhere, but this way is similar to what we did with Netlify as well, but now we're working with GitHub, which everyone knows, and that's like a huge repository of open source and closed source and private and public projects, and with lots of discussions and things going on. So pretty huge giant network of people, and it's pretty neat that we can export directly from Cables, right?
Yeah, what we're gonna do is export to GitHub, which gives you the option to have the your whole patch and your whole export in a repository on GitHub and use version control and whatever you want. And then we also have like GitHub has this neat feature it's called GitHub Pages.
Hmm.
We're able to basically host a repository as a website. So if you don't have a server, same with Netlify, that might be a good way to put your patch out on the web, be it for previews for clients or also to then later on in GitHub register your own domain and have your stuff there.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because I was still thinking like the old way of using GitHub, which is kind of this code repository, which I guess also makes sense, right? If you make a project you want to share with people or show your cables projects just via code, or maybe make some custom or user operators and then put them on GitHub, you can do that. But we're going to look at how to then turn this repository of your cables project into like an actual web page that then you can share and link to people that aren't gonna like run a web server for hosting your project or something, or download and upload it somewhere. They can just directly interact and use your stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, let's get started. So we got this nice patch here that we also used for the last tutorials on exporting.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we put it all over the web, I guess. And
Yeah. Yeah.
as seen before, we click on this menu and go to export. And if you're the owner of the patch and it's yours, you see all these options. And one of this is GitHub. And we have some links to documentation, which also explains the whole process
Mm-hmm.
again. But we'll walk you through it. And we need a few pieces of information that we need. So this is all the fields that we needed. They're gonna be retained. So you do this once per patch basically,
Nice.
and we try to export this then.
Cool. So our project is ready, but nothing else is ready. Like I have a GitHub account. That's pretty much it. Like
Yeah,
that's what we need at least, right? A GitHub account.
that's one of the first things. You register at GitHub, and then we have to create a repository on GitHub. So
And it's free, right? I think it's
GitHub
free.
is free, yes, and all
Nice.
the pages stuff that we're going looking into is also free.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Cool.
create public repositories, which we now do.
I see.
Um, so let's switch to GitHub and create a new repository. So if you
Yeah.
do this on GitHub, you're being presented with this. And
And
there's
how do
only,
I get to this? Like, create new repository. Is this something I access from my profile?
yeah, basically you go back. So your profile will look like this, and then you have
Yeah.
repositories, and then there's this new big new
Oh,
button,
okay.
and then you go there.
I see. Thanks.
So now I'm on this page, and
Hmm.
there's only a few things that we have to pick. So
The stuff
export,
with the red star. I would say.
yeah.
Okay, that requires.
Um,
Okay.
so it says export tutorial is available, so that name is fine. Um, and then we keep it public so we can later use GitHub Pages. And to initialize
Hmm.
the repository, it needs some file in there. It doesn't really matter right now, so we're adding a README file, just an empty one.
Hmm.
And this then also gives us information about the branch as the default branch. But we'll keep all of this in mind if we're going once we're going back to cables. So for now, that's okay. We're creating a repository, and then GitHub is creating this repository.
And
So
branches are kind of like versions of the same project folder you have on GitHub, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah, different parts, but we're not really going into that. I mean, I guess if you're on GitHub, you know all this Git stuff. But for now, and especially for
Mm,
GitHub Pages,
it's not
it
really
makes
necessary.
sense to just keep it as is and use the defaults.
Uh-huh.
So now we're here.
Yep.
And now we have a repository, and now we need to create a way of cables to tell GitHub that it's actually me who's trying to put data into this repository from cables.
Okay.
To do this, we click on our account setting on the top right, and it
Hmm.
opens, and then we go to settings. And then scroll down, and it should say something like developer settings, and there we go, and click on personal access tokens, which gives us some kind of password shared secret that we're going to be using. And it's also really easy, so we just generate this new token, give it a name, export tutorial.
Hmm.
Um,
So that's the name of your key. Yeah.
yeah, and I would give it an expiration date or no expiration. You can basically pick. I give this 7 days in case I forget to delete this after
I see.
after this tutorial.
So after 7 days, for example, if we use this key with cables, then it will no longer work, right?
Yes,
Okay.
and
I
then
see.
we click this on repo permission. Scroll down, generate this token. So now we got this token, and as GitHub says, make sure to copy your personal access token. Now you won't be able to see it again, so we're copying it.
Okay.
And I'm also copying this here just to make
Yeah.
sure that I'm actually not really using losing it.
Hmm.
And then we're good to go. So we go back to our repository to see the contents. Go back a few steps. This is now my repository, still empty,
Right.
with only the README that we generated. And now we're good to go back to cables.
Sweet.
So here we are again, and this then again we go to export. I'm the owner of the patch, so I see the GitHub option,
Hmm.
and then I put in my name, and
And this is
also
the exact name from your GitHub account.
right, that's my GitHub username, and the
Yep.
repository name is export tutorial, which I also still have in here in the tab conveniently. So yeah.
Yep.
And then branch, as said, is default main. We can keep this, and subdirectory we can also keep it like this. And this is the place where we need the access token. So going back here, um, putting the access token in here,
Hmm.
and then we should be good to go. So now we're deploying to GitHub.
And quick question about this key visibility. I put this into this project, right? So I would assume now this patch on cables.gl has connection to GitHub with this secret key password thing we generated from GitHub.
That's true.
But then if I publish this patch on also cables.gl, make the patch public, people won't see all these export settings because they're not the owners of this patch.
That's
They're
true.
saved.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I don't have to worry about like, oh, I need to delete my keys before I publish this on cables. Cool.
So now we exported. We just saw the progress information, and it said it's done. So we can now switch back to GitHub. And basically just reload this page and see that all our stuff is in there.
Super quick. Mm-hmm.
So we also see, okay, the commit message as it calls is set to export from cables.gl. Um, and that's basically it if you just want to have your patch in a Git repository, in a GitHub repository. And now you have all these version control features and whatever you want to do with Git. But that's only half
Mm-hmm.
of it.
Mm.
Because now we have the option if this is our repository and we just created it, so it is ours. We can go
Yeah.
into settings and then go to this thing. It's called Pages, and then we can enable Pages. And for this, we have to select one branch,
Mm-hmm.
and we keep the root directory, and then we save this. And
And theme we don't touch. We just leave that alone. Okay.
yeah, this also, and we have more options on custom domain and do HTTPS and whatever. We just leave it there,
Mm.
and this will now give us a URL. Your site is ready to be published at this export tutorial. That's my URL. So it's my username, github.io/export tutorial. So if I
Nice.
open this page, let's see what happens. This is now saying 4.4 size not found. Which is fine because what we have to wait for is GitHub to actually publish the page there.
I see.
Whenever you push
So okay.
something, so whenever you export it will run what they call actions, and we see that this is now working and is queued. So whenever you go to cables and press export, and this this action is being triggered automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Just go here, um, and then it will deploy usually a minute or something. Kind of depends on the GitHub servers, but it should be really
Cool.
fast.
I see.
So now we have this, and we now could go back to this site not found and just reload the page. But also, what happened on GitHub now is you go back to the repository, and this now says, okay, I have an GitHub Pages environment where I see all my versions of the patch that I deployed. This is the last deployment, or also first.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can view this, and
Yo,
there we go.
that's awesome. And well, I assume, I don't know if you know this, but like I could hook up a completely custom domain to this address as well. I can just forward my URL or something to this repository, so I can host my entire website, but have like a domain I purchased or something.
Absolutely. So if you
Yeah.
this is then on GitHub settings, so check out their features, and
Yeah.
they're also working on this a lot. But yeah, this would be the place where you put in your custom domain, and
Really cool.
this then
Mm,
also has a link to their documentation.
cool.
And so do we, right? So if I go back to export and export this to um, GitHub
Go to GitHub.
again,
Yeah.
then we have this link to the documentation. As you
Hmm.
can see, all my information is in there. So whenever I want to update, I can just deploy this again, wait for GitHub to complete this action,
Mm,
and have the page updated. But let's take a look at the documentation. So we go in here, and this basically has more explanation. Also gives
nice.
some things you need before, walks you through creating this access token, and explains some of the parameters a bit more. Um,
Sweet.
so
Yeah, that looks way easier than I thought it would be. It's cool.
yeah, it's
Because I remember using Git commands and that app GitHub had. It was pretty fun, but this is super easy now, especially to just publish a website on GitHub.
yeah, it's a good way to get like your patch into any repository on GitHub basically, and this GitHub Pages feature also makes it really easy to update and present anything on the web if you don't have a web server.
Yeah, super nice.
Cool.
Well, I guess that's it. That's awesome. I wanna definitely try this now.
Yeah,
Um,
do try. If you have questions or any problems, encounter any roadblocks, just put it in the comments, and we try to be really fast to answer, but we usually are.
yeah, yeah, or come to our Discord and ask us there, or show us your new GitHub page hosted, made in cables. That's it. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.